Good evening, good morning, and good night. Welcome to Inappropriate Radio. It's your host, Tashana. Let's get into this. So, hi guys. I'm gonna just apologize for any background noise right now. Okay, I'm still out and about, and I'm near an open window, so you might hear kids yelling, people talking, hills clacking, trees jingling, horns honking, and a bunch of madness. All right, now no alien talk, no periodic table talk right now, but the creator definitely has something he wants us to go into. Now, since we've been having these discussions, we have been going over the different types of spirits and frequencies that are responsible for impeding on our abilities to fully ascend, right? I mean, to walk into the frequency and the purpose that the Creator has for us is not the same, right? Some people can be walking in love but not in light, right? They can have the spirit or frequency of love, and that can actually, be one portion of their vibration, but their mentality, their intentions, their attitude and mentality, I could be using interchangeably or not, and as well as their actual ideals, right? What it is that they're subscribing to. Those are two different things, okay? Now, we have been, like I said, going on and on about all these different spirits, same-sex spirits. We've even discussed how, these spirits attack people to prevent their bloodline from breaking generational curses, from expanding, from flourishing. We've had several conversations about that, right? We've never really given them a name. They're called hindering spirits, okay? I actually Googled what stops spiritual growth, and this was just to see what's out there, right? And just to kind of compare it against my download, because I got this download about 3 weeks ago, and I sat on it because I'm struggling with this as well. I'm struggling with multiple hindering spirits, but the main one, we're going to get into that. It's the spirit of racism, okay? As we know, the Creator, had us have this whole discussion about frequency and how love is the highest vibration and how fear is the lowest, right? And anywhere in between that scale is a bunch of different emotions or frequencies that many people are dealing with, and they don't really have an idea why or how. And if they do, they may not even care about getting rid of it, or they don't know how to get rid of it, right? Now, the Creator told me yesterday to record this segment for today. And then earlier this morning, I asked him a question. I'm like, how can this happen? How can people spiritually ascend to heights and places where their spiritual ranking is starting to manifest in the physical, and it's high enough for them to still operate in their purpose? Maybe not in their frequency, maybe not in their purpose, but maybe they don't get both, right? The gist of this conversation was to pretty much go into the different things that keep us from doing what the Creator wants. Now, fear, sin, pride, being judgmental, being distracted, being jealous, being complacent, being apathetic were like the ones that popped up. But being sinful, when Googled, was like the main thing that prevented people from having spiritual growth, right? Hindering spirits are spirits that are stopping you from fully stepping into your purpose, okay? Your purpose, as we have discussed, is attached to people. It's attached to places. It's attached to ideas, right? And if you are racist or stereotypical, to say the least, then you are probably putting yourself in a box, right? You are probably literally caging yourself into a point where you can only do a good 1/3 of the work the Creator wants you to do, or even less, right? Because when God gives you a gift to bless others, He's not looking at your flesh. He's looking at your heart. He's looking at your mind. He's looking at the spirit that you are allowing to stay attached to you, right? And this is when He started to answer my question from this morning, because I'm like, how is it that people I'm sorry, I got a phone call. But yeah, when you are able to still walk in certain frequencies, it's because these hindering spirits are not necessarily under like this racist spirit. Some of these spirits are not hindering spirits, okay, if that makes sense. So like same-sex spirits, lust, greed, right? These are not necessarily under the umbrella of hindering spirits. So a lot of people are still able to receive some of the blessings that the Creator has for them, because they're not operating out of the hindering spirits. The hindering spirits, which the spirit of race, and I think the Creator wanted to solely focus on that one, because He gave me quite a few, but then He just started to go over how we know like fear and hate are on this spectrum, right? They're on opposite ends of the spectrum, and the energies and frequencies can be used interchangeably depending on the type of side that you're on, depending on the operation that you're in, depending on what it is that you're vibrating in and out of, right? Now, a lot of us don't really have a good relationship with ourselves enough to be able to move into spaces that the Creator has for us. This is why the Creator has to refine us, right? This is why we get broken down, confronted with life, and just revamped. Everything about us gets revamped. Some of these spirits, as we've discussed time and time again, are attached to you, whether it's through your environment, whether it's because the Creator wants to just attach it to you because He wants to show you how to use your gifts, whether it's via the bloodline. It doesn't matter, okay? Now, if your goal is to build a solid relationship with the Creator, then obviously you know there are things you have to refrain from, things you have to be consistent with, things that you absolutely cannot avoid, right? There's tons of different paths and journeys, and each of us have our own unique, purposes and paths. But these spirits are not independent. These spirits can attach themselves to anyone. So the spirit of racism is kind of similar to the judgmental spirit, but the judgmental spirit is not looking at you saying, I don't like you because of your race, right? Because of your skin color, because of your culture. It's a little different. But with the racism, it's more along the lines of being prejudiced. This spirit literally stops you from connecting with people who you have a shared purpose with, They are meant to come into your life and teach you, you to teach them, businesses to be started, children to be born, ideas to come about, different inventions, right? This isn't exclusive to one idea. This is why, and if I'm lying, like I said, if I am lying, then why can people with high spiritual and worldly rankings still thrive, right? And hold their positions when they're struggling with certain spirits? Because they're not hindering spirits. They're not hindering them from operating in a certain frequency. Yes, lust is vibrational. Yes, greed is and envy. They're all low vibrational, but they don't vibrate low enough to hinder you. I hope I'm making sense. I hope this makes a lot of sense, because a lot of people were looking at me like, what are you talking about? Like, hate is hate. Hate is hate. But the hate that a person has for their neighbor, for their boss, for their coworker, for their sibling, for their ex-spouse is not the same. First of all, there's a sense of familiarity when you hate your boss, your coworker, your neighbor, your sibling, your spouse, right? You're familiar with this person. So the disdain that you have for them is founded, I would hope, on some kind of ground. This spirit of, or this frequency rather, of disliking a person because of their race or their racist spirit is really from thin air. It doesn't have a base, right? So it's connected to free energy. It's connected to negative free energy, which is probably a little bit stronger than some other things, right? We've talked about free energy as well, but this type of frequency is conjured up. It's not like it's passed around, or, like passed down or picked up. No, this is something that you yourself get to brew and stew because of a personal preference, and it's not founded on anything substantial. It's just your own emotions, your own desires, your own opinions. It's a subjective spirit. So if you are allowing a spirit that's coming from free energy, negative free energy, that was formed basically out of the lowest vibration, hate, right? Next to the lowest vibration, because we know fear is the lowest. And then you mix that in with personal experiences in the media and history and, misconceptions. It's a recipe for disaster. So the gist of this conversation, if you're going to take anything from me for this topic, please understand that hindering spirits have an umbrella, and sin, being complacent, being judgmental, being, low vibrational in a lot of facets are the ones. Some of these frequencies are not low enough for the Creator to keep you in one place. Some of these frequencies vibrate, may not be very high, but high enough to allow you to fluctuate, and it creates a little room for you to move around. When you're racist, like I said, and yeah, I deal with this. I'm more prejudiced, mainly because I know and see that's subjective, because not every single person that's not black is racist, and not every single black person is like for the black people, right? So that's a whole different conversation, but you understand what I'm saying? It doesn't necessarily mean the person is your friend because you guys are the same race. So all of this is based on contention. I really do hope if you are dealing with that, you can clear it up, or if the person you're waiting for to adjust their frequency is dealing with that, is being removed. All right, but I'm gonna end it here. I do love y'all. I hope all is well. I hope y'all are drinking your water eating your fruit and vegetables, and sipping on your own tea because it's most definitely free. Love y'all. Peace.